Welcome, Puckheads, back in to another episode of Pens and Pucks. It's actually the 13th episode, which is Brandon Tanev's number. So what do you call that? Is what I'm asking right now. The Ghostbuster episode. How you doing, Nick?
Good, Jordan. How are you today?
I'm not,
Crazy game. Crazy
yeah.
game.
I got caught a little rest during the game, so I'm good. I'm ready to roll, man. Um, yeah, that was a crazy game. It's crazy that you score 5 goals and you don't come out with the victory. That's kind of a little disheartening.
Yeah.
But getting into it, before we get to today's game, we got to go all the way back to April Fool's Day, where we made the Boston Bruins look like the fools, and we managed to beat them 4-1 in a game where, again, we talk about it so many times, they dominated us on shots, they dominated us in the faceoff circle. Neither team's power play was able to convert. They out-hit us, which isn't really a surprise there because we've talked about how we're not really a physical team. And
Yeah.
yet another game and yet a different team where we lose the giveaway battle. But I mean, hey, Mike Matheson out here contributing like he's going for the Norris right now. He contributed. Obviously, the Czar contributed, but it was an overall pretty good team game, even though it didn't really look that good in the box score. What were your thoughts of the 4-1 victory that they had on Thursday over the Boston Bruins?
Well, I think they really came out and they played on their toes for sure. Their speed, their cycle game was apparent right away as soon as the puck was dropped. You saw the difference in terms of the speed factor for the Penguins in game one. We were flies on crap. Everywhere the puck was, we had 2 men on the forecheck. We had support. Our breakout passes were clean. We were getting shots on net. Even though the shots were 23-31, they were more quality shots. The big thing I found with, if you look at today's game and Thursday, Thursday we were really attention to detail. Sully said it in his press conference. All 4 lines were getting the pucks in deep, cycling it down low, managing the puck properly. And that was really the key to that victory: speed and cycling the puck. And we were 0 for 1 on the power play. There wasn't a lot of power play time for either team. The Bruins were 0 for 2. Face-off percentage, again, the Bruins dominated with a 57 to 43% face-off percentage in that game. Very, very key for playing the Boston Bruins is that puck possession. But we had more puck possession in terms of offensive zone time.
And how what I gotta ask you, because I know he scored on Thursday, what have you thought of Jason Zucker's performance since he's come back?
I think he's moving his feet well. There was a beauty play. He definitely just had like a tap in on that play there. But I think looking at his last 2 games, not too bad. I still think that when he gets those opportunities, he needs to be that 40-goal scorer that he was a few years back and bury them. He had a couple of primetime opportunities today, and again, they didn't end up in the back of the net. How I feel. How I feel about his contract, Jordan. I think what. I think he's a $3.5 to $4 million player tops.
Yeah, but we hope he plays well so he can be movable. Right? Exactly. That's the key about him, right?
Yeah, I think maybe they keep him, Jordan, like we talked about on the last show, that he's sort of that glue guy. You're hearing about a lot of leadership in the room. That's maybe a move that you look at maybe in the summer.
And what did you think about Freddie Gaudreau on Thursday? I mean, I think he had his most ice time of the season. Obviously the staff trusts Freddie Hockey a little bit here. What are your thoughts on how Gaudreau's been playing? Because he was decent again today when he was on the ice.
Yeah, he played 17 minutes in game one. Face-off percentage was 44%. He was a +1. He had an assist that game. So I like the way Freddie's playing. I think that name Freddie Hockey. I've mentioned that to a couple of my buddies, and they're all in for that name. So Freddie Hockey lives. Freddie Hockey lives. He's becoming a legend, and I think he slides into that Sully, game plan of playing hard, getting in the pucks first, using the body, grinding. To me, he's a poor man's Benino, but faster. So, and that's what we're looking for. And I think he's fitting well with Sully's system.
Yeah. And I have to ask you something. I know it was today, but I have to ask you, what did you think when Bobby Uri called? I don't know. Oh yeah, you didn't get that feed. Bobby Uri called Lafferty the fastest player on the team.
I think Bob Berry comes up with his own things like game by game. He's I don't know if he's fast on the forecheck. I don't know if he's the fastest player, but Lafferty's been playing well too. I think it's understanding your role on this team. If you're not going to be that sniper, that playmaker, if your role is to be a grinder, get hard on that forecheck, be first to the pucks, then Sam can do that. If there's a couple of times even today, even on Thursday as well, in game one where he tries to do a little bit of a dipsy doodle, cut to the inside. That's not his game. Drive the net, cycle the puck down low, just don't get scored on. But I don't think he's the fastest player on the team.
Either do I.
I don't know. Yeah. So.
Another thing too, especially on Thursday night, a lot of contributions from the bottom six compared to our top six, whereas their only contribution coming into this series, we talked about how they're really top heavy. I mean, it was evident today how top heavy they were, but even on Thursday, their only contribution came from their top line.
Yeah.
And as we get into today's game, obviously the Penguins, they lost 7-5. Both teams squared off at 28 shots per piece on goal. We got destroyed in the playoff circle. In the faceoff circle, 60-40. Both teams potted one power play goal out of 3. Again with the giveaways, my friend. We had 12, they hit 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're just shooting our like I'm telling you though, I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest here.
Yeah.
When that I originally thought it was Matheson, but it was Jankowski when they credited it.
Yeah.
When that goal went in, I was like, oh, here we go. These guys are gonna beat them again. And they scored those 2 goals to start off the second period in like a matter of 35 seconds between each other. And I was just like, oh, here we go. And then Jake responded not too long after, and then Jared got us back up. And then they did it again. Like later on to end the second, Krejci and Brad Marchand had 2 quick succession goals to put them up to 5-3. Smith didn't look as sharp as he did on Thursday and as he didn't look that great today. What were your thoughts on what went down and what transpired today?
Well, just if you look at the two games, Thursday and today, a couple of things that come to mind. Number one is that 37, 63, and 88. Those 3 players, if you look at what they put up on Thursday night, Bergeron had 1 assist and Marchand had 1 goal. And then you had Pasternak with 0 points. So they had 2 points on Thursday. Like you said, the fourth liners and the third liners on Thursday, they came to play. Angelo scored, Tanev scored, Rodriguez scored, and then Zucker scored, right, as well. So a little bit different game from Thursday. And then if you look at today, that trio just lit us up altogether. They had 8 points. And that's the difference, Jordan. We talked about this prior to this series. Is this, and they had Pasternak playing with Krejci as well. So they weren't all 3 together for some points of the game. But those 3 dominated today. Again, look at the face-off circle, 60-40% here for the Bruins. I think Sid was
only 35% in the face-off circle today.
Yeah, he sort of got dominated. I was really keeping an eye on that. Bergeron usually has his number. So, and again, we that late period goal in the second period, Marchand's goal, that was a beauty play. It was a set play. Jank lost a draw. Unfortunately, it went back in the net. That was, sort of a heartbreaker. But the Penguins came back. Was it
the second or third goal for the Bruins? I forget which one, where Letang was soft on the boards and then Dumoulin got beat along the backside, and they just came around the front and potted it. Was that the second or the third one?
Well, actually, that was number 2 and the first one as well. We got out like that was 11 seconds into the period. They got out muscled in.
Yeah.
But again, game 2 like of this series today, the attention to detail went right out the window.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
like
defensively, bud.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But the funny thing about it is the first 5 minutes we were moving our feet, we were getting into the offensive zone. That forecheck was happening. Nice draw by Jank, got it on net. We scored to make it 1-0. But the wheels fell off in the second period. They scored 5 goals against us. We've never seen that in the last 4 weeks with the Penguins.
And 4 of those were in quick succession from each other, right?
Right. Yeah. That's a couple
That's a killer.
back-to-back class goals, killers.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker, man. When that happens, I wanted to ask you though.
Yeah.
What was the highlight goal of the series? The Matheson end-to-end from Thursday, or that McCann tic-tac-toe between Crosby, Gensel, and McCann today? Which one did you like better?
Wow. I'm gonna give it to Matheson. I just think that was listen. I just think that like the end-to-end was pretty nice for him to cut in. And
was that Paul Coffey or was that Matheson, bro?
Yeah, but the best thing about that play was they interviewed Sully post-conference. Right? Okay.
So I was like, I didn't know he could do that.
No, but he actually, I haven't seen Sully really laugh during his conference.
He laughed?
He actually laughed because one of the media guys asked him, they're like, you grew up in Boston and Beantown and you saw a lot of goals while you were a young kid. Did that remind you of somebody? Right? And so Sullivan started laughing. Like, are we talking Bobby Orr? Right? And Sully he started giggling on the mic. He's like, look at this Draboni comparing Matheson to Bobby Orr. Come on, man. Like, there's only one Bobby on our team. That's Cody Ceci. Come on, man. Like, right?
Oh my god!
You see that beauty short side?
Oh, bro. Whenever he scores, I think of you, bro.
Listen, he's legit Norris candidate this year, man.
Holy fuck me. Legit Norris candidate.
He's legit, man. Legit.
Oh man. Apparently you can't spell Norris without Ceci.
Yeah, exactly. Right? It's a new trophy, the Ceci trophy. See it that way, see it this way. Gonski. Right? All right.
See it that way, see it this way. Oh my god.
But again, if you look at the power play, both power plays were 1 for 3 today.
Yeah.
It's as funny as it might seem though, like the attention to detail that Sully really preached Thursday night. Man, it just like our breakout passes were ugly. I thought
it was a baseball game today out there.
Yeah. Our D were losing men off the face-off. Even our forwards, defensive zone face-offs, we were losing our guys. McCann was negative, -3 today. It's not a lot of good metrics there for the Penguins. The rest was a -2. So, what can you say? It was one of those wild, crazy games, last goal wins, and unfortunately, we were on the short end of the stick today.
And I know you're watching the feed in you're watching the New England feed. All they were talking about today was like they had this whole segment dedicated to the Boston and Maryland feud or whatever in hockey and how all these guys played each other and were on the same team with each other, about how Czar went against Tanev when they were younger and stuff. I'm like, yo, man, show me the game. I don't care about this stuff. You know what I mean? But
I think the officiating was off today too, was inconsistent. There was a play. I know that Rusty had his one hand on the stick, but he had his stick chopped away from the referee's right there, no call. Couple questionable calls in the game. It wasn't the best officiated game today either.
What did you think about DeSmith this series?
Yeah. I thought he played really well. On Thursday, he saw the puck. I wouldn't blame all the goals on him today. But he didn't look like himself. He looked a little shaky at times. That 2-on-1 reaching at Pasternak, that goal. Listen, we all know that pass is coming across, Jordan. Like you know that's coming across. You got to be able to read that. I know Pasternak's one of the best snipers in the league, but that being said, come on, you got to sort of play that a little better.
And it always hurts when you're on the other side of a Marchand hat trick, right? Watching the Hats come on the ice while this rat celebrates.
I was fuming inside, to be honest with you. This is actually the first time we've been on air that the Penguins have lost, so this is our first loss. But seeing Marchand, and again, him and Letang went at it in the back of the net. You know what, Chris Letang has been playing really great hockey. He's been playing solid. And Dumo was way off today. He was in another island. He was giving up that puck, passing brutal. A couple of times he had a guy right in front of him, 5-foot pass, icing the puck. He was way off. I thought Matheson played a steady game except for that turnover, which caused a 2-on-1. CC played well. I'm not a big fan of Pettersson at all. I think, if there's a guy that has to move on, it's got to be him.
Pettersson, the pylon.
Yeah, Pettersson. And you know what? Half his shots missed the net.
Who's that remind you of?
Are we talking about 58 there?
The good old 58.
Yeah.
Good old Tanger.
Good old Tanger.
Tangerang. Clowns.
Yeah. But I think, again, Jari practiced full practice. It was a short practice yesterday. 20 minutes. He was out there. Bluger was in a regular jersey, not a non-hit jersey. So hopefully he gets back in the lineup. Kapanen and Malkin still haven't skated yet, so that's still status quo on that. But Bluger coming into the lineup, like even Czar, like a couple times today, he's first to the puck and he's fishing with that one hand on his stick. That drives me crazy as a coach. You're not going to win the battle. Like, that's simplistic hockey, and you know what? He lost the battle a couple times. They came back on man rushes. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Czar. I think his foot speed's slow. I think I don't know. He, when they first signed him, it was all this. He's going to be like the next Patrick Hornquist. I don't see it. I think Jared McCann's playing really good, but again, he was on the short end of the stick with this -3 today.
Yeah. I think Sid was -3 too, wasn't he?
-1. He was -1. You had and -1, but a lot of minuses where, again, last game there wasn't one player on the Penguins that was a minus.
Yeah. Let's talk about the ending there because we talked about it before we went live.
Mm-hmm.
They made it 6-5 on that goal where Sid basically breathed on Halak and it went in. Just on the puck and it slides in. And then they had a chance after Patrice Bergeron. I mean, you go back to that playoff series, Eastern Conference Finals, where we lost them. First play of that whole series, he gets butted in the face. And then Patrice Bergeron, Sid got away with getting his stick pretty high, and then Bergeron just butted the hell out of him.
Yeah.
And we had a chance there to tie it up. What were your thoughts of that final sequence there, that final minute?
Yeah, that final minute was, again, it was a crazy game, and it finished crazy. Opportunity with, 54 seconds. We pulled the goalie 5-on-4. Sid wins the draw, goes back to Rust. Rust gets it back to Sid. I hate saying this about Sid, but that was sort of a low percentage pass to get it back to Marino. They had a player sort of, from the hash mark to the blue line there. I would have liked to seen Sid kick that back of the net and sort of start, that cycle on the power play and maybe get a better opportunity, because we were right there. It was 6-5. You couldn't get a better opportunity. The crazy thing about it was, imagine if we would have tied it, we would have had a power play going into the overtime, right? So,
and the momentum.
Right. As bad as I think this game was defensively, Pittsburgh still, they kept on coming. They They didn't quit. We beat them. We split the series. That's all we wanted. It was the first game we won in over,
I wanted those games. 2 games though, just to
I know.
put on the throat,
Yeah. So at the end of the day, Jordan, this is going to be what we're going to see once the playoffs come. If we face the Islanders,
we better not see no 7-5 bullshit.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of these teams. If we play the Islanders, we play the Bruins. Playing in their barn always gives us a little bit of trouble. So, you know what? Overall, not a bad series. I think, I know you, like you said, put the foot on the neck there, but some pluses, some minuses of these 2 games. Great March for the Penguins. And, right now 1-1 going into the Rangers series.
You couldn't wait to use the March of the Penguins, could you?
Why not, right?
All right, let's get into Brandon Dubinsky, the jabroni of the week. Now this guy, all right, this absolute clown, all right, first comes out, and you provided the link here on Instagram just so we can show the original quote.
Yeah.
Said everybody wants to talk about Sid and Ovi or whatever. Fuck Sid. I'll take Ovi every day of the week. And then this clown decided to make it even worse as he goes to Twitter. And this is what he said on Twitter, Nick. And people jumped down his throat. If you read the comments in this tweet, it's got, look at it, it's got almost as many quote tweets as it does likes because people are just talking smack. So he said, listen, Crosby's better than me. I never said he wasn't. He's obviously one of the best ever. It was Ovi versus Sid. None of you played in the NHL and know how hard it is to score goals in the NHL. 724 is insane. Sid just whined way too much, and Ovi shut up and played hard. Now, obviously, Brandon Dubinsky's never watched Alexander Ovechkin back check, or he wouldn't say played hard. And let's be honest with ourselves, we've seen it.
Yeah.
Ovi whines all the time. Who is he lying to right now? You see it in the playoffs. He whines to the refs. I mean, this is the same guy who goes headhunting his fellow statesman in a guy like Evgeny Malkin. But we want to sit here. See, here's my thing. You got an NHL player, Nick, putting out the perception that goals make you the best. Okay? Not like is there any, and if you go in the thread of that stuff, okay, like you got people absolutely jumping down his throat, but like let me ask you this, dude. Like people, it's a team sport. Crosby's a better player. Crosby would be close to 600 goals, even though he's a playmaker if they played the same amount of games, which is totally freakish, right? Because Ovechkin's little butt buddy over there in Washington at the time, David Steckel, put Sid on ice for almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
All right. And this guy hasn't. What's crazy about this? I'm going to bring this up right now. Okay. What's crazy about this? Between Ovi and Sid, brother, is Sid's played far less games. And yet, what? He's how many points behind him? Isn't he like 4 or 5 points behind him or something like that?
Something like that. What? I don't know if you want to search it up. What the
I'm searching it just to make it
up.
Oh, I'm searching.
I just want to get back to, like, you made a really good point here with the fact that, and this goes back all the way to minor hockey, right? This goes back to minor hockey, and of course, I'm a coach in minor hockey, and the perception out there with all these parents, all these coaches, is how many goals these kids are scoring. And you know what? That's bullshit. To me, I've been saying this for years. It doesn't matter about how many goals you score. It's about if you play the game the right way. And you know what? Those goals will come. Those assists will come. Those points will come. But if you hear these coaches, especially minor hockey, and then it goes up from level to level. So it goes into junior. It goes into the pros. Oh, this guy has 20 goals. But you know what? He can't even play defensively in his own zone. Or he can't even back check, right? You look at Sid plays 3 zones. He plays in the offensive zone, plays in the neutral zone, he plays in the defensive zone. How many times do you see Ovi skating his ass back on a back check, right? And how many times have you seen Ovi score the same fucking goal, all right, on the power play, on that side, on the circle, right? So, this is not an Ovi bashing, because I think he's a good hockey player, right? I think he's one of the best snipers that ever played the game. But at the end of the day, it's not all about goals. And you know what? For all the parents and the coaches out there, take a look at the player. Take a look if he can play defensively as well, because you know what? Defense leads into goals as well.
That's my whole point here, bro. The thing is, you got an NHL player pushing that narrative.
Yeah, but he's a jabroni, man, right? What has he won? And Sid always fed him all the time, right? Well, like, Dubinsky's a jabroni. He's right? He's just a loser. First off, the comeback, you never played in the NHL, right? Big deal. So what? You're comparing two. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, keep going. Keep going, bro. Let him have it, bro.
Yeah. You're comparing a guy that has won 3 Stanley Cups, multiple gold medals, world championships, to a guy that always loses to Sid in Olympics, world championships, in the playoffs, 3 cups, multiple gold medals. Who's the better hockey player?
He's been to 4
cups. Jabroni, 4 cups.
Yeah,
but
he's
3
been
wins,
he's been to 4 cups,
right,
3 wins. Right. He's been to what? 5 Eastern Conference championships. And 4 wins. Okay.
Hey, Jabroni, take a look at that, buddy. Okay.
And I go, right here. Look at this. He's played 165 more games than Sid, brother. And he's only 6 points ahead of him heading into today. And Sid added to that total.
Yeah.
And Sid would be around just over 600 goals if he wouldn't have been taken out. Mm-hmm. Look at the assists. Why aren't we talking about the assist difference here?
Can you blow that up a little bit or no?
No, I can't. Sorry. It doesn't let me.
All right. Yeah, so there's a comment there, from Irving as well. Like, again, it's the best defense always creates the best offense, 100%. If you clean up your own zone in whatever it is, right? It comes down to hockey, basketball, football, same thing, right? You got a good defense. You play with sound in all ends of the ice. That will create offense. And this guy, and you know what? The best part about it is Sid's in the running maybe for the Selke this year as well. Do you ever hear Ovi in the running for the Selke? No, he's in the running for, you know what? Standing at the blue line, waiting for Backstrom to give him a pass, right?
Well, and here's another thing. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
He's had far better players around him. You can go back to Alexander Semin. Yeah. Alexander Semin used to blow up the world on that team. He had far better and more talented players around him. Sid was making it work with guys like Pascal Dupuis and Chris Kunitz. What do you think Ovechkin? Yeah, I know it. What would Ovechkin done with guys of that caliber, bro? He elevated Chris Kunitz and Pascal Dupuis. Let me ask you this question. Who in the blue hell has Alexander Ovechkin ever elevated in his career? It got so bad that what did they have to do? They had to start plucking players from our team when they were free agents.
Yeah, because they plucked the players from the Penguins because the Penguins know how to win. That's the bottom line, right? At the end of the day. So
I'm just sitting here and saying, bro, like if when we go one with that Bonino line, with the HBK line, that was one of the deepest teams we've had in Sid's era, right?
Yeah.
Can we both agree that team was not as deep as what the Washington Capitals had when they won? That team was deep from 1 to 4, and Braden Holtby was much more consistent between that pipes that year, between us having to go back and forth between Fleury and Murray.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying. They needed to stack his team from lines 1 through 4. John Carlson needed to play the best hockey of his life for them to even sniff a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And who did they beat for a Stanley Cup? Who did they beat?
They had to beat us, right?
No. Who did they beat in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Oh, they beat Vegas. They beat
an expansion team. An expansion team, right? Because they wouldn't have beaten no team like the Blackhawks or someone there that's been there and done that.
100%, man. Like, again, it comes down to you look at Sid. He makes everybody around him better. And to me, it'll be again. And this shouldn't even be a topic of conversation about Sid and Ovi because they're two different players. They're two different. So Dubinsky, as dumb as he is, okay, he shouldn't even be comparing the two because they're two different players.
Dude,
okay,
listen. You know what the difference is? Here's the difference. Ovechkin's going to go down as one of, not the best, one of the best goal scorers of all time. You know what Sid's going to go down as? The best 200-foot player of all time. Not one of, but the best 200-foot player of all time. That's the difference between them, man.
Yeah. Hey, like you said, look at the players he's made better. You know, you look at Shearer, you look at Dupuis, you look at Kunitz.
And how many goals do you think he would have scored that year? Steckel took him out. Didn't he have over 35? We're at the 42 point. We're at the 42 game point. I think he had 35 goals and like 30 something assists when he got knocked down, bro. He would have finished with 55 goals that year, easy.
Yeah, he was definitely playing the best hockey of his career. He was like, I remember there was a Saturday afternoon game and it was against the Devils, and I think he scored 2 or 3 that game, and Dupuis scored a couple. Man, like, you know what? It was just like Sid was just flying out there. He was all over the place, sniping, top of his game. And listen, you know what? He still looks good. Like, he's moving his feet.
He's come back on.
The engine's going now, right? And
you know what the worst thing is? You know why I hate that team so much, bro? Because they robbed us of a year and a half of his prime, dude. And you know what the thing is? You see how they reacted to the Tom Wilson thing? Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, Nick, behind the scenes when Steckel came in, oh, good job, buddy. Way to go, 100%.
Buddy. Yeah. Because again, you know, that's their game plan. You know, the Penguins, you know, everything's built around Sid, Gino, and Letang. So obviously that little elbow to Crosby was not something that the puck was already in the neutral zone when Steckel elbowed him. So, but again, going back to Dubinsky, Jabroni, that's all he is. Never won anything. He's a loser. And you know what? He got some airtime off of everybody in the media this week. And you know what? Maybe just take a walk and get out of here, because you don't even know hockey. If you're comparing Sid and Ovi, different types of players, right? Like if you're having this conversation, Jordan, about Ovi, maybe you're comparing him to like a Mike Bossy, or you're comparing him to, you know, a sniper like that, right? A Yuri Curry. You know, even when you talk about even when you talk about Wayne Gretzky, right? The first thing that comes to mind is, yeah, he has the record for goals, but the vision he had on the ice, the passes he made, he was so ahead of the game.
Yeah, he made everyone around him better.
Right. And you know, but you look at those players, Joe Sakic, like Steve Yzerman, those are players that make players around them better, right? These goal scorers, Brett Hall never made anybody better around him.
Why he bounced around.
Right. Adam Oates, Craig Janney, all these guys that were, you know, intertwined playing center. The guy could bury the puck. He was the golden Brett, but he needed that puck. He didn't get that puck to the other guys, right? Yeah. So, you know, that's who you got to compare Ovi with, the Halls, the Currys, the Bossies, those guys there, not Sidney Crosby. And they played 2 different positions. So, you know, that's he's just a jabroni, that's all.
I just like what is this guy just? Are we just talking about jealousy right now?
Well, I think, like I said, like, you know, when we got on offline there, like before we got on here, we were talking about, you know, the Columbus series where, you know, he used to go after Sid and actually attack him physically like crazy. I remember a couple of times in Columbus where that stick was just wrapped around his neck, and Sid beat him. That's it. You know, Sid had his number all the time, no matter how much Dubinsky tried to get Sid off his game. Pittsburgh always prevailed in those series. So
all I know, bro,
I think it's jealousy too.
Don't ever tell me this guy is better than Sid.
Is that Tebow?
All right. No, look at it.
Oh, sorry.
Look at the back checking from Ovechkin. Controller disconnected, bro.
Oh yeah.
Right, look at this. Watch, right? He's got the little indicators over controller disconnected, bro. Yeah. All right, look at this guy. Look at this, right in front of the net, and look at the back check.
Yeah.
Don't ever tell me this guy's better than Sid, man.
Yeah.
Lying to me.
Yeah. That you know what? Listen, man. Like, again, I think like you nailed it on the head. It's just jealousy with some of these guys. And again, I'm not sure why. Maybe was he on a podcast or was he on some type of thing? Why did this even what? It was just brought up out of nowhere. I just don't get it. Right. So yeah.
All right. So he's played for the Columbus Blue Jackets and he also played for the New York Rangers. And we have the New York Rangers coming up this week, my friend. And right now, heading into this series, we're clicking at a 20.9% on our power play, 15th in the NHL. They're 25th in the NHL. on their power play with 17.6%. Penalty kill, though, we are currently 18th at 78.3%. They are currently 6th in the NHL at 84.8%. Face-off percentage, we're 21st in the NFL, 49%.
NHL, bro. You said
That's what I said.
NFL.
No, I said
You
NHL.
said NFL.
No, I said
Okay?
NHL.
Yeah.
No, I said NHL.
It's not Finside now. It's Pittsburgh hockey. Okay, let's go.
I said NHL, you jabroni. I said NHL. I went like that. That's why.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Why don't you put your head up out of your phone, fucking guy? All right. And then they're 31st in the NHL. They only win 45% of their faceoffs. And then when you go for goals for, we're averaging about 3.24 goals a game, which is 8th in the NHL. They're averaging about 3.17, not too far off, with his 12th in the NHL. And goals allowed, 2.68 for us, which is 13th in the NHL. They're 11th at 2.64. They've been, yeah, and I think we can both agree, since we last played them, they're playing a lot better.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that.
Why you got that shit smirk on your face, bro?
Because I knew you were going to go there. I had a feeling because, everybody says, "Oh, we got the Rangers in a 3-game series."
Yeah,
right?
no, they've been playing a lot better than what we did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they played us hard. They played us hard. If you look at the first 2 games, we beat them 3-2. We beat them 4-3 in a shootout. Okay. And then you look at the games in New York, we won 5-4 with Sydney's OT winner. Then we lost 3-1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you're talking about it. And then, back in March, we beat them 5-1 and we beat them 4-2 in Pittsburgh. But if you're looking at a team that's young, that they know that they're probably not going to make the playoffs. Right. So they're sort of in that phase where, you know what?
Nothing to lose.
Guys are playing for their jobs.
And Adam Fox has been playing out of his mind recently. Yeah. I don't know what's happening over there.
He's been playing amazing. The other night I watched the game where he literally stopped 2 goals on one shift, batted 1 puck out of the air, blocked the other one with his face. So they're a young, dangerous team. If I'm Pittsburgh, again, what's happening with the goaltending? Is Jari going to be in this series? I hope he is. Maybe that's that.
You went from thinking Casey DeSmith was our potential playoff goalie to now hoping that Jari's back, huh? Flip flopping more than a pair of sandals on the beach, huh?
Yeah, I got the tape on my ankles, man. I'm jumping on and off that bandwagon there, Jordan. Right? I'm not a big fan of any goalie. I'm just not a goalie guy, right? Goalies are
I remember.
What's that?
Remember when we were talking about when I was thinking about it, and then I ended up getting the Gensel. Remember, I was thinking about getting the Murray jersey.
Yeah.
And you're like, never get a goalie jersey ever.
No way, never.
Bro, thank God. Jeez.
Never get a goalie jersey. But goalies in practice, they kill me too, because they don't want to do the skating in the beginning of practice, right? Even with the young guys out there, they know if you're doing circle drills or red line, blue line, and they don't want to skate. But one guy that's a fantastic skater as a goalie and is Marc-Andre Fleury. He's probably faster than Czar on his player skates, right? So,
but hold on, is he faster than Sam Lafferty? That's the question.
Hold on here. Honestly, I'm looking for. I believe Lafferty's American. I think he is. Yeah, right.
Is he? And I thought he's Canadian. Really?
Look it up. Check it out.
I'm looking.
Maybe we're gonna see him in the Winter Olympics.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Harrisburg.
Winter Olympics, speed skating, Sam Lafferty, right? And then Bobby Reed's his trainer, right? Bobby.
I love you.
Hey, he's playing a different sport. What's this guy talking about, man? Like, Czar's taking 3 guys to the net. He's saying like he's playing football. Like, what? I don't know. But anyways.
He's got that Steeler fever, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right? But no, the Rangers are going to be dangerous. I'm not, again, this is a series. You look at a 3-game series. You got to take 2 out of the 3 for sure. Every series you go into, we're stacking up some points, and March was fantastic, like we talked about before. But the biggest thing with the Penguins is going into the playoffs on a high note. And if you look at 2016, when we won the Cup in 2016, we were going on, full cylinders back then, going right in, riding all the young guys, riding Murray. 2017, very similar. But if you look at 2018, we started to see some cracks in the system. Look
especially
at 2019.
In Murray.
Right. And then you saw 2019, that debacle with the Islanders. We were playing ugly hockey. We felt that going into that series that was going to be it. And then the bubble, it is what it is. But now that, you're playing a certain number of regular season games, we'll see what happens there. And they got to be on a streak. I'm so excited about April 12th. I know that there might not be a lot of moves, but the trade deadline's coming up in a week or so, and I want to see what Berkey and Hextall do. I want to see if they just tweak a little bit here. I'm still not convinced.
We're going to go live for that, right?
We are, yeah. We're going live for that. I think we'll have a couple of insiders that day, hopefully helping us get some news coming out very quickly. Yeah. So,
you know what you brought up? I don't know why you brought it up.
What's that?
When you mentioned 2017, but I'll never forget when me and you went to the Cup that year, and all the Murray merchandise was to the front, and all the Fleury stuff was to the back of the merch store. You remember that?
Yeah. I think it was half price. It was BOGO, buy one get the second half off. They were riding that guy out of town. They actually, I don't know if you remember that picture, Jordan, but
the one with Murray in it. Remember they had Murray in the picture?
Yeah, they had like Crosby, Letang, and then all of a sudden, like I think the year before we were at the Penn's gear shop there, and it had Fleury there at the bottom. Remember that picture?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's copy and paste. You're out of here. See ya. And then you got Murray there, right?
Yeah.
So, right. It was man. You know what? But yeah. Again, it's the goaltending is definitely going to be. Everybody's going to be watching this. The Smith, Jari, how is Sully going to handle that, right?
I wanted to ask you about New York's goaltending. What are your thoughts on Shesterkin and Georgiev?
I think it's 50-50 between the two. I don't think either or has taken the number one position. So it's a flip flop there. Goaltending, because wasn't there with Shesterkin for sure?
Yeah, it was serious.
That's where the hype really was. But I think that's where the Rangers are lacking right now is goaltending, consistent goaltending. Crazy enough. I saw one stat today during the Penguins game. The Philadelphia Flyers in the month of March let 75 goals go through the wickets of Elliott and Hart, which is a first. That's the first in that's a record for the Flyers. So you know what?
God.
Even though the Penguins lost, by seeing that stat today, I can definitely have a better dinner because it just makes me feel good. When anything about the Flyers is bad, it's fantastic.
Carter Hart looking like Cody. Carter Hart looking like Corey Hart. He's wearing his sunglasses in the building, and he ain't seeing shite.
Yeah, he's supposedly the price was right. He was supposed to be like Carey Price, but the price is not right.
No. He didn't even make it to the Blinko board.
Exactly. Right. And hold on, hold on. So Brian Elliott has this nickname Moose all of a sudden, right?
Is it? Ho! Hold on a sec here, bro.
Yeah.
Who does this guy think he is? Johan Hedberg, bro?
Yeah. He's got it on his mask, the Moose.
Whoa.
I thought it was a moose he left in the toilet or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe is that the nickname this guy has? Because he's shit, right? So that's a perfect nickname for Elliott, right? The Moose. The Moose is loose in the toilet. Right?
Who does he think he is? Hedberg, buddy?
There's only one Moose. There's only one Moose. Number one. Right? He was number one in the net. And he wore number one. Right?
Oh my God. Going back on that. Just like I'll never forget where I was. I was playing road hockey in my friend's driveway because everyone knew how big of a Patrick Lalime fan I was when he was on our team. And when we traded him to the Ottawa Senators, I believe it was, I was heartbroken, bro.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken, man. I was heartbroken.
Yeah. And Lalime.
Yeah. Well, didn't they
Dream
go
of
to
it.
a few conference finals with them with Ottawa? Didn't they?
Yeah, with Ottawa they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then unfortunately he let in those Civ goals against the Leafs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Because he
New and Dice.
he had the Martian guy as a
Yeah.
senator on his helmet.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a decent career, man.
He did.
He couldn't win the big games for Ottawa. That's when they had their primetime teams. They had Alfredson, Hossa, Chara, Martin Havlet. I think Jason Spezza was a little bit in there.
Yeah.
Radek Bonk was there. Wade Redden. Like they had a decent. Like they could never get over that hump, right?
Yeah.
And then I think he went to Anaheim after that.
He did. Yeah.
So
What's with us and sending goalies going to Ottawa,
huh? hey, they can take them all.
Take our crap. Take our
take
garbage.
the crap, right? Just like the Washington Capitals take our crap too. There you go. Take them, right?
Because they're the ones they also got. What's his face, right? The prospect we traded.
Oh yeah, well Philip Gustafson. Yes.
Yeah, they also got Gustafson. We've given them like 3 over the last 25 years, bro.
That I'm still a little bit gun shy about because he did win a couple of games with them. He's still young, right? Goalies sort of come into their prime in their mid-20s.
Yeah.
So and you look at the return we got. Nobody's with us right now, so who knows with that, right? So
yeah. Because me and you were really high on him before we traded him.
Yeah, for sure. Like all the European scouts were like, this guy's going to be the next thing for Pittsburgh, but
good old JR said, I don't think so.
Yeah, you got it right. I wonder what JR's thinking, Jordan, at home right now.
He probably thought he was trading Gustafson from the Leafs, bro. Probably didn't know what he was doing.
He was another guy that was projected to be the big Swede there, but
just like what's his face, Pogge. Remember
Pogge?
Oh yeah. Oh, wow. Pogge rhymes with Nogi.
I think he's on Pogge now, probably, right?
Where? Oh, buddy, that guy's picking pucks off the ice up in Europe somewhere, bro. And he's been there for a while. What were you gonna say though? Sorry, I cut you off. We're talking about Gustafson.
Yeah, I was just gonna say in terms of the what JR thinks right now with how the Penguins played in March, where they are in the standings. Is he regretting leaving this team? Because I think we talked about it for so many times over and over again, online and offline. Was it the resignation because he couldn't trade one of the star players? And
I think you're right with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and now look at the team and look how he as again, I got to give him somewhat credit. Look, because some of the pieces are starting to play out. Cody Ceci.
Obviously you're gonna bring that.
I gotta bring Cody Ceci.
If you bring Matt, oh fuck!
Hold on one sec. Hold on. I'm not gonna say the Matheson thing is a project, not for that price.
Okay, what about Zucker?
No, I didn't like that trade from day one.
Let's keep it rolling here. For what we gave up, and what he's supposed to be. Jared McCann.
For his contract? For his contract?
Look at it was all in the look in your face, bro. You don't even need to say anything. You looked into my soul and I could feel your pain when you looked at me, bro. Okay? All right?
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here like what are we giving him credit for Freddie Hockey?
But
hey, let's be honest. He's the one who helped run Marc-Andre Fleury out of town.
Yeah, but for sure. Yeah.
Was Jari? I know he came from the Edmonton Oil Kings. Was he a Shiro or was he a JR pick?
He's a JR pick, I believe.
Okay, I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit for that.
We'll check that out. But again, let's not even get into the Pittsburgh scouting because that's just their staff is just.
Oh, it's terrible.
They missed up on a lot.
It is terrible.
A lot of yeah.
For a team that has been so good, our biggest thing has replenishing. And if we get even the inkling of being able to replenish when JR was here, you trade them for something else. We're in scouting and in management. Now I think it's about to change with who we have in charge. So short-sighted, brother.
Yeah.
No long-term vision at all. And brother, I think me and you could go be the top scouts for that team, bro, if we really wanted to, because I don't know. These guys are eating Krispy Kremes and drinking coffees and not really watching what's going on. I don't know what's going on, dude.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like the scouting department, we don't hit on like mid to late round guys ever.
Ever. You're absolutely right. But again, if you look at what they did the last draft, we drafted 2 goalies. Like, why are we drafting 2 goalies? Like, what's the thought process there? Like, you need to replenish in terms of D and forwards, like more forwards than you need D right now, because there's a few younger D that we have, right? But if you look at just replenishing the stock of forwards, we're drafting 2 goalies. I just don't understand that.
JR was too busy eating his chicken fried rice and his chicken dumplings that his Asian wife packed for him for lunch. That's what happened, okay? This guy. The guy is like, dude, the guy he's 6 months away from being declared senile. That's what I do.
But inside, and a lot of talk out there with the media, is he will be the next general manager of the Buffalo Sabres.
Good.
Right?
Good.
So,
what's he going to trade Eichel for? A bag of pucks? Let's
hold
go.
on. So this is a good thing. Now we're going to make some trades like Zucker to Buffalo for a first-round draft pick. Now we're going to soak him back because he's going to do it. He's going to want immediate return, right? So there you go, right? Maybe a Pedersen 4.5, Zucker. Hey, you know, if I'm Hextall, hey, JR, you know what? What do you think of this? And he's going to say, yeah, we need to build, right? So, yeah, so around the NHL, I see you got that up right now.
I got to ask you the real question, though.
Oh, jeez.
What do you mean, oh, jeez?
Your questions today. What's the real question?
Do you think we could give him Mike Matheson for Rasmus Dahlin to the way this guy operates, bro? Because I think there's a good chance, bro.
You never know. Like, listen,
we got a good chance, I think.
Listen, if the Rye's like this and the Coke's like this, you're getting that trade, right?
You know what he's going to say? Oh, I've got 2 guys on this team with the first name Rasmus. One of them's got to go.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh,
I like
God.
that. Yeah, for sure.
This absolute jabronia. Jabronia of the year, never mind week. So looking around the NHL right now, we got a fully loaded schedule tonight, but today had some games. Obviously, the Boston Bruins dropped the Pittsburgh Penguins 7-5. The Nashville Predators managed to shut out the Chicago Blackhawks, who are not the same team they were for the first half of the season, 3-0. Right. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, they won 2-1 over the Red Wings. And tonight on the slate, you got the Senators and the Canadiens. You got the Stars and the Hurricanes. You got the Blue Jackets and the Panthers. You got the Flyers and the Islanders, which is a game we'll be paying attention to. You got the Rangers and the Sabres as the Rangers get ready to take us on. Yeah. You got the Blues and the Avalanche at 9. You got the Wild, and the Golden Knights at 9, which should be a good game. You got the Sharks and the Kings in the Battle of California, which is always a good game. And then you got Vancouver and Edmonton at 10. A rare Saturday night, my friend, where the Toronto Maple Leafs do not play.
Yeah. So I think the biggest story of tonight is, again, the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers game postponed. With the Canucks having a total.
Was it the contact tracing? Was that the one because of contact tracing?
Yeah. So they actually have, I believe it's 7 players that have tested positive for COVID, plus 1 coaching staff. And it's supposed to be, I guess, the variants from Brazil. That's what I'm reading here. And supposedly a few of the players are violently ill. And that's no good for the league right now. And no good for the North Division, the Canadian Division. What has happened? You know, what happens with the Canucks here? They're scheduled to commence playing this week. I believe it's Thursday or Friday. I probably see that being delayed. Now, again, whispers are being talked about amongst NHL executives, is because a lot of these games, now that the schedule is getting pushed back, there's got to be a cutoff date where we get into the playoffs. So winning percentage is definitely being talked about with the NHL governors and Gary Bettman, Bill Daly. So this is going to be we'll have to monitor this the next 5-6 days where this goes, because you could see if this team, if there's positive tests today, this gets into the teens, this is going to be brutal. because you're going to be looking at a team that will probably be out of commission for at least maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month, and then we're looking at maybe the Canucks just shutting it down. Period. I'm not saying that that's what I've heard, but this could go like wildfire right now.
Not like they're making a push for the playoffs either, right?
No. Interesting thing about that Nashville game, I don't know if you can bring it up, Jordan, but the standings in the Central Division, because you made a really good point there with Nashville. We talked about Nashville on our trade deadline show a couple weeks ago, or a trade show.
They passed the Blackhawks.
Right. So they've been winning night after night. They've been creeping up, and now they're in the 4th spot. So now they're in a playoff spot. So we talked about different players, picking them from the Nashville Predators, but not happening now, because I think they're going to make a push for a playoff run. But St. Louis is struggling there as well. Currently right now they're the Blues are. Sorry, the Western, not the Central, the West Division. Sorry.
They're in 5th. They're 16, 14, and 6.
Yeah,
so they are 1 point behind the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, so you got St. Louis that's sort of been struggling. Coyotes have been playing decent lately. If you look at that division, oddly enough, the Kings are still in it. The Sharks are still in it.
Yeah, they're just barely behind because they got because the Coyotes got 2 games in hand on the Kings. They got a game in hand on the Sharks and the Blues. And, the Sharks are 36 points. The Kings are 34. And the Coyotes are just sitting there at 39. So they're right in striking distance.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of tight races. The North Division, you have Vancouver, like we talked about, that is 35 points to Montreal 41. I think those 4 teams, the Leafs, the Oilers, the Jets, the Canadiens, they'll be in the playoffs in the North. Canucks, Flames, Senators are out of it. I think there's too much. Like, there's 6 points between, the Flames, Canucks, and Canadiens. They're out of it. One rumor I did hear today in regards to the Penguins is Sam Bennett's name has come up again for the Penguins. I know you have to remember Berkey was president of operations for the Flames. He's a Bennett guy. He can throw the knuckles. The problem with Bennett, unfortunately, and he requested for a trade. He wants to have more ice time, right? So, what type of role will he have with the Penguins if they were to make some sort of trade? But he's on the Penguins' radar. Another person today brought up in the media, Ryan Kessoff's name again came up with the Penguins.
You love it.
Either player, I think, would be a perfect fit. Because we need that sandpaper. We definitely do. I just don't like the fact that, we see Chris Letang getting in an altercation today with Marchand. These guys are going to take liberties. We're going to see it in the playoffs. We need some guy to go out there, take off somebody's head, throw a big hit, and really keep these guys away. Because I still say, like, a guy like Czar, he ain't going to fight. I don't think he'll fight. Tom Wilson knocked him out to, broke his jaw. I don't think he's going to fight. Who's going to fight on the Penguins? Not that I, want to see fighting or whatever, but you need to have that enforcer, that grit to play in the playoffs. And if you're going against a 7-game series against the Islanders, who's going to deal with Matt Martin, right? Today, Boston, they started playing a little dirty at some points, taking liberties at certain players. So, Jakey got nailed a couple of times from behind. The rest of the NHL, a couple other things that are, let's talk about the Leafs, for example, here. Campbell, 8-0. What are your thoughts on him?
Ride him, because we already know what Frederik Andersen is in the playoffs, and it's not going to get you anywhere. And I mean, I'm not giving them advice, but you saw what happened with us and having a guy like Matt Murray when the scouting report wasn't fully out on and heading into the playoffs with a guy like that. It's going to cause havoc. So they should ride him.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Leafs are playing a different brand of hockey, and if you listen to all the interviews by the Leaf players, they're behind this guy 100%. I guess he's had some injuries.
Well, you would be too if he hadn't lost.
Right, but it's funny how a team goes goes for either their goalie or if it's a player, how they walk behind that certain person.
Ride the hot hand. That's what they do, right?
But I think the interesting is that maybe this is for the Leafs, this is something like, okay, Anderson, you know what, you're not going to get the contract, you're gone, right? And there are whispers too that even though the Leafs are saying they're not looking for goaltending, maybe Anderson's out for the year, right? So, and like you said, one of the first Saturday nights without the Leafs, there's no double header on Hockey Night in Canada. So, Hockey Night tonight feels a little bit odd, but there's some really good games out there tonight.
Yep. All right, let's get into some final thoughts before we get out of here, Nick. Anything on your mind?
Big thing, again, don't take the Rangers lightly this week. 3-game series, got to take 2 out of 3. Hopefully we get some the scratches, the injured guys are going to be coming back slowly with a Bluger. Hopefully Kapanen and Mel can get back on the ice. Jari seems to be like he's going to be there. So slowly but surely we'll get those guys back, and it's going to be interesting to see what Berkey and Hextall do once trade deadline comes in with a full roster. What do the lines look like? I'm really interested to see that. So this week should be interesting.
Yep. All right, guys. So we'll be back this week as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. Nick said he doesn't think there's going to be very many trades, and he's probably right due to what's going on with COVID right now. Like, you know what I mean, in terms of especially with the North. If you're in the North, you basically got to trade with the bottom feeders, right? Just because of the days guys are going to have to miss. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. And really, I agree. You can't take the Rangers lightly because this is a totally different team playing at a totally different level than the last time we faced them. And like you said, they're playing with nothing to lose right now. So that's always a dangerous team, no matter what logo is on the front of the jersey, when they're just going out there and having fun, just playing. They want to be the spoiler, right? So we'll be back again this week. So until next time, I hope everyone stays happy, healthy, and safe, and enjoy your weekend, puckheads. Happy Easter.